Barak Yahuwah, Barak Yahuwah, Barak Yahuwah. Shalom, peace and blessings and barakut to you and your entire house. Shalom to Yehuda and to Ephraim. Shalom to the former stranger, the former foreigner, the former ger, who was once formerly estranged from the everlasting covenant, but now having received the Ruach of adoption, the Ruach HaKadosh, who is Yahusha HaMashiach, and whereby now, being engrafted into the olive tree, who is Yahusha HaMashiach, who is Yasher Al, and whereby now, being privy to the same everlasting promise, covenant, and inheritance that was given to Yasher Al and to Yasher Al alone. Shalom to you. My name is Miriam. Peace and blessings and barakut to you and your entire house. Barak Yahuwah. But the Master has declared that this is the servant's road, and he is calling upon his people to get back on the servant's road, back to the way of everlasting, back to the way of life. And he wants us to stay focused on this ancient path, that leads to everlasting life. In doing so, he is calling his people to be a doer of the word, so that they live. This indeed is the servant's road, the humble man's road, and we must be servants of righteousness. This is what is expected of us. And if you have received his breath, if you have received Ruach, you are expected to walk and be servants of righteousness, being beacons of light amongst the nations in the midst of darkness. And we are called to be servants of righteousness. Yes, we are. The Master, he desires righteousness from us. Yes, he does. He indeed desires righteousness. Barak Yahuwah. Please turn with me to Deuteronomy, chapter 6, verse 25. Deuteronomy 6, verse 25. Dabarim, chapter 6, verse 25. We're just going to lay a foundation. And it is righteousness for us. It is righteousness for us when we guard to do all this command before Yahuwah our Elohim, as he is commanded. Barak Yahuwah. It is righteousness for us when we guard to do all the words of the Torah. Torah is righteousness. Please hear, Torah is righteousness. Yahuwah, he is the living Torah. Yahuwah Tzedekanu, he is our righteousness. And if we follow him, if we are called by his name, we must do as he does. Barak Yahuwah. Turn with me to Romans chapter 2, verse 13. Romans chapter 2, verse 13. Romans chapter 2, verse 13. For not the hearers, please hear, for not the hearers of the Torah are righteous in the sight of Elohim, but the doers of the Torah shall be declared right. Listen, it is not the hearers of the Torah who are declared right, who are not declared righteous, but the doers of the Torah who are declared righteous. He, Yahuwah Tzedekanu, he desires righteousness. Barak Yahuwah. Turn with me to James chapter 1. James chapter 1, starting at verse 21 to 25. He says, therefore, put away all filthiness and overflow of evil, and receive with meekness the implanted word, which is able to save your lives. And become doers, he said, doers of the word, and not hearers only, deceiving yourselves. Because if anyone is a hearer of the word and not a doer, he is like a man who looks at his natural face in a mirror. For he looks at himself and goes away and immediately forgets what he looks like. But he that looked into the perfect Torah, that of freedom, and continues in it, not becoming a hearer that forgets, but a doer of work, this one shall be baruched in his doing of the Torah. Barak Yahuwah. It is all about doing righteousness. Indeed, the Master Yahuwah, he desires righteousness. It is all about doing and not just hearing. And if we are not doing, then we are not servants of righteousness. If we are not doing, then we are on that broad road that leads to destruction. Barak Yahuwah. Please hear, what does righteousness look like? This is the Master's desire, that he desires righteousness, but what does this righteousness look like? It is all about the desire. It's all about doing the desire of Yahuwah, and when we do his desire and we carry out his will, that is righteousness. And it is not about our will, it's not about our desire, but it's about his desire. It's about his will and what he expects from us. Barak Yahuwah. Please turn with me to Matthew chapter 12, verse 47 to 50. And one said to him, see, your mother and your brothers are standing outside, seeking to speak with you. But he said to the one who spoke to him, who is my mother? Who are my brothers? And having stretched out his hand toward his tall one, he said, see, my mother and my brothers. For whoever does, he's saying, whoever does the desire of my Father who is in the Shamayim is my brother, my sister, and my mother. Barak Yahuwah. Whoever does the desire, whoever does not, the one who does not, the one who just hears, the one who just hears is not my mother, my brother, or my sister, but the one who does is my brother, is my mother, and my sister. Barak Yahuwah. Please turn with me to Hosea chapter 6. Hosea chapter 6, verses 1 to 6. Come and let us turn back to Yahuwah, for he has torn, but he does heal us. He has stricken, but he binds us up. After 2 days he shall revive us. On the third day he shall raise us up, so that we live before him. So let us pursue to know Yahuwah. For going forth is as certain as the morning, and he comes to us like the rain, like the latter rain watering the earth. Ephraim, what would I do with you? Yehuda, what would I do with you? For your loving commitment, he's saying, for your loving commitment. Your loving commitment translates into compassion. Loving commitment, it translates into compassion. So he desires compassion. Ephraim, what would I do with you? Yehuda, what would I do with you? For your compassion is like the morning cloud, and like the early dew goes away. Therefore I have hewn them by the prophets. I have killed them by the word of my mouth, and my right ruling break forth as light. For I delight in compassion. Righteousness translates into compassion. For I delight in compassion and not slaughtering, and in the knowledge of Yahuwah more than ascending offerings. Barak Yahuwah. Yahuwah, he desires compassion. Compassion is the ancient way. Compassion is righteousness. Compassion is the way of everlasting. Barak Yahuwah. You want to know the ancient way? Compassion is the ancient way. Compassion is righteousness. This is what the Master desires. He desires righteousness. He desires compassion. Compassion is everlasting, and he desires us for us to show that compassion towards others. Compassion is righteousness. Barak Yahuwah. Turn with me to Psalms, Tahalim chapter 136. Tahalim, Psalms, verse 136. Psalms, verse 136. Psalms, chapter 136. Give thanks to Yahuwah, for he is good, for his loving commitment. Loving commitment translates into compassion, for his compassion is everlasting. Give thanks to the Elohim of mighty ones, for his compassion is everlasting. Give thanks to the Master of Master, for his compassion is everlasting. To him who alone does great wonders, for his compassion is everlasting. To him who by wisdom made the heavens, for his compassion is everlasting. To him who spreads the earth on the waters, for his compassion is everlasting. To him who made great lights, for his compassion is everlasting. The sun to rule by day, for his compassion is everlasting. The moon and the stars rule by night, for his compassion is everlasting. To him who struck Mitzrayim in their firstborn, for his compassion is everlasting, and brought out Yashar'al from their midst, for his compassion is everlasting. With a strong hand, with an outstretched arm, for his compassion is everlasting. To him who split the sea of reeds, for his compassion is everlasting, and made Yashar'al pass through the midst of it, for his compassion is everlasting, but shook off Pharaoh and his army in the sea of reeds, for his compassion is everlasting. To him who led his people through the wilderness, for his compassion is everlasting. To him who struck the great sovereigns, for his compassion is everlasting, and killed mighty sovereigns, his compassion is everlasting. Even Sihon, sovereign of the Amorites, for his compassion is everlasting, and Og, sovereign of Bashan, for his loving commitment, his compassion is everlasting, and gave their land an inheritance, for his compassion is everlasting, an inheritance to Yashar'al, servant of his compassion, a commitment everlasting, who remembered us in our humiliation, for his compassion is everlasting, and rescued us from adversaries, for his compassion is everlasting, who gives food to all flesh, for his compassion is everlasting. Give thanks to the All of the heavens, for his compassion is everlasting. Barak Yahuwah, his compassion is everlasting to everlasting. You want to find the path, the ancient path. You want to find the everlasting way. Here it is. This is the way of righteousness. This is the way of everlasting. Righteousness is compassion, and this is what identifies his covenant people. The one thing that separates his true covenant people from the rest is this. It manifests in compassion, and his people in this season are maintaining their compassion. Please hear, listen. We are living in a time where the love of many has grown wax cold, and people have lost their compassion. They have lost their love for one another. Even if you just look around you, even amongst the so-called house of Yaakov, the so-called house of Yashar'al, it is void. It is void of love. It is void of compassion, and many are they're just hearers. They're just hearers of the word and not doers. But they're walking in filth, and this is widespread. This is widespread. How many of you, please hear, how many of you can say that you are operating in Torah, and you see a brother or a sister down, afflicted, and just simply pass by as though nothing is going on? How can you do this? How? Because you are truly not concerned about anyone other than yourself. You are concerned about yourself. You are selfish. You are selfish, not selfless. How can you say house of Yashar'al? How can you say that you belong to Yahuwah, that his ruach is in you? How? You are void. Many of you are void of ruach. You are void of compassion, and you are void of the fruit of righteousness. You are not of Yahuwah, and your knowledge of the Torah, your knowledge of righteousness is not going to save you. It is not. If you desire to walk the way everlasting, you must you must walk in compassion. You must be compassionate and not just simply be hearers of the word, but be a doer of the word and a doer of righteousness, walking this ancient way, this way of everlasting that leads to everlasting life. Many of you are far from Yahuwah. You are void of compassion. You are void of love, and you walk around. You're masquerading as children of Yahuwah, but you are far from Yahuwah. You are far from Him. Please turn with me to Yaakov chapter 3, verses 13 to 18. Yaakov, James chapter 3, verses 13 to 18. Who is wise and understanding among you? Let him show by his good behavior, his works and meekness and wisdom. But if you have bitter jealousy and self-seeking, the master just said so, self-seeking in your hearts, do not boast against and lie against the truth. This is not the wisdom coming down from above, but is earthly, unspiritual, and demonic. For where jealousy and self-seeking are, there is confusion, every foul deed. But the wisdom from above is first clean, then peaceable, gentle, ready to obey, filled with compassion and good fruits, without partiality and without hypocrisy. And the fruit of righteousness is sown in shalom by those who make peace. The master just said so. If you are not operating in the fruit of righteousness, which is compassion, if you are not operating in what we just read in this text, the text declares that you are from below. If you are self-seeking and you're just only concerned, you're only worried about yourself, being selfish, not selfless, and you're not worried. You're not worried about others, not worried about you're not building others up before you build yourself. This is demonic, and this is not from above. This is from below, and you are not from Yahuwah. It is only those, please hear, it is only those who have the Torah written upon their hearts that can actually operate in the requirements, in the requisite fruit of Torah, which can actually do righteousness, which can actually do what is expected of us, which is compassion, which is compassion. If you are firstborn according to flesh, you only have a knowledge of righteousness, which is in the flesh, and within your own capacity, and you will not be able to produce the requisite fruit. You are void of righteousness. You lack the fruit of righteousness if you are from below. The master, he declared, you will know them. He declared, you will know them by their fruits. Yahuwah desires compassion. I pray that this word has edified you and has sharpened you. Understand that Yahuwah, He is Ruach, and He is filled with compassion, and He enables us to walk in compassion and do righteousness, provided that righteousness it is in us. And this is Yahuwah. Yahuwah, He is righteousness. And if the Ruach is in you, who is Yahuwah, who is the Ruach HaKadosh, who is the Ruach of righteousness, is in you, you will truly be able to operate the way of righteousness, the way of compassion, this ancient way, this way of life that leads to everlasting life. Barak Yahuwah. If you are born once again from above and you have His indwelling of Ruach, you will be able to operate as He desires and do His desire, His will, not your desire, putting others before yourself. This is the way of righteousness. He desires righteousness. Barak Yahuwah. Until the next time, Yahuwah barak you and guard you. Yahuwah make His face shine upon you and show favor unto you. Yahuwah lift up His face upon you and give you shalom. Thus you shall put my name on the children of Yasharal, and I myself shall barak them. So be it, So be it. So be it. Shalom.